This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And make sure to order Jamie Glazov's new critically acclaimed jihadist psychopath. How he is charming, seducing, and devouring us. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Glazov Gang. Tonight, Kamala's shocking rotten road to Biden's VP pick. With us this evening, Will Johnson, the founder of Unite America First, and just a great guy overall. Will, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Great to have you, Will. Well, very exciting developments. Kamala Harris picked as the running mate for Biden. And so let's begin with the latest news, Will. I don't know if you heard just on the way here. I heard it over the news. Apparently she was giving a speech and Biden came up right behind her and started sniffing her hair. It's all over the... it's hey, you know, at least somebody likes my jokes. But I really did hear that. Did you hear that? No.
I haven't heard it, but I wouldn't be surprised. He probably couldn't wait till he could, get close enough to sniff her hair anyways. And, right. Just let me put this out there. I don't believe that Biden actually picked her. She was given to Biden and said, this is who you're going to go with.
Wait, what do you mean? Expand on that.
Well, just like a day or two before it was announced that Kamala Harris was going to be the VP pick for Biden, a group of black activists, Sean Pitty Combs and a few others, athletes and artists, wrote a letter to Biden demanding that he select a woman of color or he's going to lose the election. So miraculously, he gave it. Look, well, on the outside, from what I can tell, he gave in to their demands. And that's telling me that any tyrannical government come to Biden and they say, you're going to have to give in to our demands or else he's just going to give in to them. That's what it looks like.
This is crazy. Well, I got to ask you something, though. I got to put you on the spot here because Tucker Carlson did a really racist thing the other night by saying Kamala, because it's Kamala, I think. But you just said Kamala. So I have to ask you, are you a white supremacist?
According to Nancy Pelosi, I am.
Wow.
So, who cares? She's not going to be. Okay, the only reason why everyone is talking about Kamala Harris, however, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Kamala, it doesn't matter. But the thing is that she's not going to be president. I mean, and they're excited because she's on the ticket with Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's not going to be president either. And Joe Biden can't remember yesterday, let alone today with Kamala Harris. They only put her there because they want to control the black vote, and they want people to believe that if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, Joe Biden ticket, that you're racist.
Right. Will, I promise I'm going to get serious in a second. But I have to get this one out too. I keep seeing images of Biden in a pool and Kamala kind of rubbing the hairs on the bottom of his leg, and they go down and then they go back up. So, okay, on the one hand, I'm being silly, but at the same time, I'm being serious here for a minute. And I like to ask each guest, Will, what was he talking about when he was talking about that?
Well, actually, he was with a group of young black kids, and he was saying that he liked when he's sitting next to the pool, or I guess he was a lifeguard at some point when he was younger, and his hair would stand up, and he said the kids would come and rub his leg, and his hair would stand back up, and he said he really enjoyed that. And then the kids would go and they would bounce up and down his leg, and he said he really liked when the kids bounce up and down his lap. I'm like, this is a sick man. I mean, this is a straight up sick man. Anyone who is saying anything like kids bouncing up and down in your lap, and then they go, oh, that's just Joe, they're sick too. This is crazy.
But, sorry, what is the objective of telling the hairs on the leg story, though? Like, what's the best interpretation we can give for that? Like, when he's planning it, oh, yeah, I really got to tell that story.
the best thing I can come up with is that he's a pedophile. Because I don't know of any grown man. I'm not trying to, be mean here, but think about it. Can you imagine what they would say if President Trump was talking about little kids rubbing up and down his leg? I mean, come on. They would be saying, oh my goodness, he's doing this for children. What is wrong with him?
Thank you, Will. Will, imagine if a black reporter asked Trump a question he didn't like, and then Trump asked him if he was a junkie. Yourself as a black American, if I can say that, how did you feel or think about Biden asking a black man if he's a junkie when he didn't like his question?
Well, we have to remember Joe Biden was the one that came up with the crime bill, 1994 crime bill, that locked up a lot of black people, sent a lot of black people for petty crimes and for crack cocaine. It was a bigger crime for crack cocaine than it was than regular cocaine. Now, he asked the black male, are you doing drugs? Did you get tested for drugs? Are you doing cocaine? That should have been extremely insulting. And he should have addressed it that right then instead of overlooking it. But there again, they always say, you know what? That's just Joe. He's just being Joe. No, you can't do that. I mean, so if you go to another country and they ask the country leader, are you doing crack cocaine? Of course I didn't get tested when I came here. I mean, we have to really look at this. And what I'm not understanding is that how is it that people seeing Joe Biden being this way and they still support him? Well, let me take that back. Let me take it back. I do know why. Because they have this whole thing, vote blue no matter who. Mm-hmm. That's how insane this is.
Right. And also, of course, they're so excited that Kamala will become president when he moves to the side, which I think the plan is. Will, when this is the former Attorney General of California, if I'm correct, I was doing quite a bit of research on this. And, it's some of the courageous or truthful websites or news reporters dare to talk about this because we're not going to see this on CNN and MSNBC. Kamala Harris was putting very many people in jail, thousands, many of them black people, for weed. And then at other times, she's laughing, joking around how she used to smoke weed. So you're putting people in jail for weed, black, many of them black, but you think it's funny that you smoke weed. Am I missing something here?
No, you're not missing anything at all. Kamala Harris, she did that on purpose. She wanted to look good for her city members that she was trying to crack down on crime. And she's nothing but a hypocrite. She's constantly getting caught in lies, saying that she was smoking weed with Snoop Dogg, listening to Snoop Dogg. When during that time, Snoop Dogg hadn't even come out the album yet.
And the same with Tupac. She said she was listening to Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac. I mean, seriously, come on. See, now people, they said, well, they give that a pass. They come out in total lie. They give it a pass. Joe Biden comes out, he lies, give it a pass. But for her to lock up so many people, right? And a lot of them were black people. There's a lot of black people that hate Kamala Harris. I mean, despise her. Now, let's remind everybody, she did not win the black vote during the debates, during the primary. She did not win that. They rejected her 100%. So now all of a sudden, are we supposed to be like, oh, we're just going to jump on the Kamala Harris bandwagon? I don't think so.
Thank you so much, Will. Another thing that's really deadly serious here, what Tulsi Gabbard was saying about Harris, and I looked into this, it's very, very troubling. She was blocking evidence, including DNA evidence, especially the DNA evidence, in a lot of cases. And there was one case with a gentleman, I don't know if I want to call him a gentleman, we don't know the whole story yet, but Kevin Cooper, and he was on death row, and she would not allow DNA evidence to be gathered to see if this man was innocent or not. And the courts forced her to do that. What is that? I mean, somebody's on death row and somebody's saying, hey, let's at least look at the DNA to see if this person is guilty or innocent, and you suppress that? What does that say about a person?
That should be horrifying to everybody, because if she became president, and I'm not even saying that Joe Biden, okay, look, let me say this. She's president, Joe Biden's VP. Is just on paper that he's president and she's VP. But that should be a horrifying to everybody, because for one, come to find out, if I remember the story correctly, come to find out when they finally got the DNA test, he was innocent, if I remember the story correctly. And on top of that, for her to not to want to find the whole truth, seriously, and she's wanting to be president? This is horrifying.
And absolutely. And in other cases, she was against DNA evidence overall during all that time. It just, they say, you've brought it up, that, black people didn't even choose her during the primaries. They say she's very unpopular among black people. I want to ask you about this, among black Americans. And there's also this black issue. Okay, we understand that there's, this also tradition, we can talk about it, about the 1% rule or one drop rule. If you have just even a little bit of black in you, you're considered black, that whole thing. Yes, we understand her father is Jamaican black, her mother's from India, but there's a little bit of a strange story here. She only identified as Indian up until a certain time. Then all of a sudden she started identifying as black. But overall, she is not a black American, according to some. Does any of this matter? What do you think about Kamala's blackness?
Well, her blackness. She doesn't have any blackness. Now, I've seen documentation on a wiki. There's a wiki page where she was going along as Indian American at one point. Then she went as Caucasian, and then she went as just American. And then the latest is African American. She's never been to Africa. I've never been to Africa. I don't even claim to be African American. So for her to claim that, she's just trying to appeal to black people in America, thinking that this is the way that we're going to be able to keep their votes.
Okay, but just a second. But she is black.
Well, if you want to go with the whole one drop of black blood, then yes, according to that. And that was something the Democrats came up with. But other than that, she's just Jamaican, just like I was talking to another gentleman.
But no, wait, but she's Jamaican black. Just like Obama is half black, right? But not. Huh?
Is he? Well, I guess are those in Kenya considered black?
Okay, so but just a second, but he's not black. Obama was not black American. Does it matter? Or
well, for me, the color really doesn't matter. The issue here is that they're trying to say that she's African American only to appeal to those on the left or anyone who's color struck.
Right. Okay, I understand. I'm just asking you as a black American because this is being discussed.
For me as a black American, it's insulting. Because she didn't want to identify to black people until it's convenient.
And her tradition and legacy in terms of her background is not American.
Correct.
Right?
She she doesn't like America anyways.
Okay. Will, something else very disturbing. During the Kavanaugh hearings, we know what Kamala was doing to Kavanaugh. There was an individual, her name is Judy Monroe Layton, that sent in a letter to Kamala saying that Judy was saying about herself that she had been raped by Kavanaugh. Kamala releases this letter, and it's part of the whole hype during that time. Another witness, another accuser, another victim, right? And then Judy Monroe Layton afterwards admitted she lied and made it all up just to get attention. What do you make of this? For Kamala not to even look into this, to let that out. Then in the beginning, she believed Biden's accusers. In the beginning, she believed Tara Reade. Now all of a sudden, she doesn't believe Tara Reade and Biden's accusers. And she's embracing to be Biden's running mate, but yet before she thinks not only is he a racist, but a sexual.
I'm hearing you saying it, and it is just like that. It's so confusing, and it's so backwards. It's completely, such a hypocrite. Hashtag believe the women, but now we're not going to believe the women because I have an agenda here. I have an opportunity to be president here. So we're not going to believe the women now. Only if women come up and they say that President Trump did something, then they're going to say it. But she was nasty. They don't want people to say that because that's racist too. President Trump said that Kamala Harris was nasty to Brett Kavanaugh and she was nasty to Biden. But now they're giving that a pass, right? That's how nasty she was, and they want to emphasize, or they want to pay attention to President Trump acknowledging how nasty she was or how nasty she is.
Right. Will, what do you make of this overall? As those of us who see Donald Trump as a providential godsend, perhaps the last dam holding that Marxist flood, should we be celebrating that Kamala has been chosen for this role?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because a lot of people, a lot of black community, they can't stand Kamala Harris, and they think they're going to try to do something to fix it. They're trying to say that President Trump is racist. Everyone is racist. I mean, if you don't say her name, Kamala Harris, and you say Kamala Harris, or if you say Kamala, if you don't pronounce the name that they wanted, they're calling you racist, calling Tucker racist. This is the same game that they play, and they're doing. You know why they play the race card every 4 years during a presidential election, or even 2 years if it's against a Republican, is because they use people's emotions, and a lot of black people get emotion when they hear the race card. We're going to hear more of that between now and November.
Right. And Will, for instance, I can even feel it. Just even when I'm talking about this, if I'm critical or making fun of Kamala in any way or anything that I've said this evening, definitely the left will label me as a racist. You've, of course, been labeled a racist just in a very bizarre way by the left. But let me ask you about this. If I criticize Kamala Harris, I'm a racist. If you criticize Kamala Harris, you're a black white supremacist. But if white liberals criticize you and Candace Owens and Larry Elder, they're not racist. How does that logic work? Why is it racist if I say something about Kamala, but if somebody criticizes you and Candace Owens, they're not racist?
Well, you know what? Because it goes along with their agenda. I was watching the Criminal News Network, or was it MSDNC? I can't remember. It was one of them. But they were on there saying that anyone who says anything about Kamala Harris that they don't like, they said that they're going to go after them. So basically, your freedom of speech, our freedom of speech of saying what we feel about Kamala Harris, they're wanting to take that away. And as far as liberals saying hateful stuff, I get it all the time. I get white liberals that send me some of the most despicable messages. And guess what happened? You get black liberals jumping right in there with them. And so it's completely idiotic. White liberals calling me racist names, the uncle, and then the COON. They call me these racist names, and then you get black people, black liberals, jumping right in there with the white liberals, calling me the same names. But see, it's not racist. And you know what it is?
But they're very concerned about racism, though.
Oh, yeah, they act like they're so concerned. They're so concerned. The left, they are the most racist people on the planet. Mm-hmm. They're the only ones who's creating all the racism. If we could get rid of liberalism, the Democrats, we would remove racism, the racist issues throughout the entire country.
Wow. Will, if you don't vote for Biden, will you still be black?
That's what Joe Biden said. Listen to that.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
I mean, I hear that all the time from Joe, and I'm like, actually, I'm like, tan more than black. I mean, my microphone, that's black.
Okay, Will, thank you so much for coming on the Glazov Gang. Where can people find you? Because those people who have not heard of you yet, and there's not many of them, but there's a few, they're so excited right now. Where can they find you?
If you go to uniteamericafirst.com, you can find everything out about me. uniteamericafirst.com.
Will Johnson, thank you so much for being a courageous and brave and noble voice during this very troubling time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And we'll see you soon on the Glazov Gang. Good night.